Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for probably my favorite ever stream on the channel because I'm not quite as tired as last night, so I'm even more excited, arguably. But yesterday was, I'm pretty sure for all of us, one of the best days of our lives. Maybe not quite for Shardlight, appreciated though, but for all of us, Chelsea fans here, I think it was. Lewis, big up yourself. He's been an absolute hero and the legend, so if he sent you over, big ups to him. This live stream today is a little bit different. Obviously, we have Con on, but Con isn't sneaking himself into anything. Con is actually a member of the channel because what we're doing today is talking to members of the channel. So if you are a member, you can join the stream. I'm not sure if we have any other members already watching, but if you are and just haven't put anything in the chat, the link is literally on the community tab. So, just go into the community tab of my channel and the StreamYard link is there. Just click that, let it access your camera and microphone, or just microphone if you prefer, and join the stream and, let's have a discussion. If you want to join, become a member. There's a link in the description if you're on your phone or a join button underneath. Nothing crazy, but I know Lewis does it, but if I just put it out to everybody, I think that's a little bit crazy. Lewis can do that. I think it's a bit crazy. Yeah. And we have another person already joining, Mr. Rajiv, the legend himself. Bro, first of all, let me quickly introduce Mr. Jester because I'm not quite 100% sure about you Rajiv, actually, but Jester and Connor told them off air already. I got the entire Christian Pulisic fan club going. Jester, how you doing? How was yesterday for you? And how good are we feeling?
Well, it's an amazing feeling, and people don't know this, but in 2012, I didn't see Chelsea play. Didn't even know it was on TV, if it was on TV. So this is actually my first Champions League to see Chelsea play. So it was. I guess you could say I popped my cherry last night, right?
There you go.
Sorry, there was a little feedback and I was. If you hear yourself,
I'm not sure. I think Rajiv has some background noise on. I will just mute you, Rajiv, until you're talking, so we don't have the background noise all the time. Is that cool?
That's fine.
So, and I already said what it not only did as a member for Chelsea, but for my whole country is, kind of behind in men's football, or what we call soccer, because, other countries are so much more advanced, and that's their only sport. That's their main sport. And it was down the list, for me growing up, it was nothing. It was behind baseball, basketball, hockey, ice hockey, everything. So, from where I grew up and where we are now, and seeing the first American win something in Europe, it's something. It's surreal. I don't think it'll sink in for a while. But it's an amazing experience for me, and luckily I got to share it live with a few of the people I do podcasts with. So I got to come on at halftime and talk, and then at the end of the game, your direct reaction to it. I got to share it with people that I've been talking with for a year and doing content for a year with, and so it was amazing for me.
No, honestly, like the story, it's great to hear from a different perspective because I'm not English myself either, but at least I'm European. We grew up with football, like that's what we grew up with. Let's be honest, and it's super interesting and fascinating and inspirational. Is maybe a bit of an over excessive word, but you get what I'm trying to say. That it's just cool that you can hear that it's super special for every Chelsea fan, but it might be special for different reasons and in different ways for other Chelsea fans from different areas. And I think it's beautiful to hear. Of course, Con, he was already here last night. I'm not actually sure whether he's back from the toilet, but I'm pretty sure he's here. He was already here last night. Big up, Con. What a legend he is, Con. A day after. Night, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm still so happy, bro. Like last night, I was really high on energy, And people might have thought I was drunk last night or something, but I generally didn't have a drink. I was just so happy, man. And today I'm still happy. I think I'm going to be happy for a long time coming. It's definitely settled in now properly now. And I feel like I'm cloud nine. Don't feel like I'm fully here. Champions of Europe, man. I'm never going to get bored of hearing it. This summer is going to be so nice. We've got such a long time until club football comes back. And that win last night just made that so much better for us, man. So much better.
Brilliant. Like, honestly, it's just... I mean, I did have one drink, but when I say I literally had a small cider, do you know what I mean? So I wasn't drunk. I was just, I wanted to have a cider. But it's just crazy. Like, I'm still not over it. And I saw this TikTok earlier that someone made, and how music works, and like it builds you up even more. And I didn't go to sleep until like 5 a.m. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was crazy. I just couldn't. It just took so much time to sink in, and it was just, I don't know. It's super, super, super special. And to get to the first member that we haven't actually seen live on the channel before, Mr. Rajiv, my bro, how you doing? How was yesterday for you, and how do you feel right now?
Thank you for getting me on, Laurenz. I mean, I've been following you on a lot. Anyway, I'm very, you know what? I'm still emotional. As a person myself, I'm an emotional person. I tend to get emotional very, very quick. Again, call me soft all what you want, end of the day, right? Not every man's a man when it comes to these kind of moments. But unfortunately, I'm just one of them people where I just get absolutely in tears with a moment like yesterday. At work, I mean, it's unfortunate I had work today. However, there were some times where I had to lay out at some people and tell them straight, how I felt. Honestly, it just the feeling, I'm still not over it just yet. I mean, it's still not like, it's a moment where I can always remember now. Obviously, like the gentleman said, we've got a good summer ahead of us. And these moments is why I become a Chelsea fan. These special moments when you have the performance like that, especially, and having these memories going back and forth and having to go on YouTube and rewind watching that game again, it just feels so good. Honestly, it honestly does. And again, I just feel like, and again, how you tell a person that you love that you're on top of the world, that you're sharing your moments together. That's basically what it feels like. It feels like you've got a good empathy with the game. Basically, I just feel never much better. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, the best way I can probably say is like passing a driving test, or you passed your Spain test, or you passed your degree, or you've managed to get yourself a master's and then you graduated. Honestly, the feeling is just nothing like that. I don't know how to put it, but honestly, I'm still not over it, Laurenz. Honestly, but again, I want to hear other people's input, because again, I'm just going to keep repeating myself because of the amount of times I've been emotional connected to it. Honestly,
bro, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being emotional, and nothing to feel shame about at all. Like when the final whistle went, like I was stood up because I was like, come on, blow the whistle. Like, I'm not a crier. I'm the opposite of a crier, right? Even I was like, I literally just sacked to the front. I was crying like a baby. I had a great old time. I tell you, I was crying like a little baby. And we're joined by another very, very special guest. By the way, shout out to CFCJ. If you want to join, there is the link to the StreamYard. Is if you go to my YouTube channel and to the community tab, there's the link there. And to all the other members, if any of you are watching but haven't said anything in the chat yet, that's how you get involved if you fancy it. But we're joined by a very special guest. I've slept in that man's house, and he goes by a very, very funny name for us, for the friend group. He isn't a big fan of the name, but that's what the name will go by today. Gino.
I knew you were going to bring this up someday. How's everyone doing?
Excellent.
We're good, man. How can we not?
Never been better.
Well, I have to say, last night, I couldn't sleep. Literally, I live like 10, 15 minutes from the ground. So after the game, I just ran to where the supporters were. Like, they were gathered over there. It was like massive. The crowd was massive. Wow. Honestly, I really was surprised by our performance. I really was surprised by the fact that we won. But it wasn't by the fact that, obviously we did well, but the fact that Man City did so poorly, that shook me. That's what really surprised me the most.
Fair enough. We'll get into just discussing the whole performance and whether it was our end or their end, from all perspectives in a second. Let me go back to Jester. Would you class it as a case of they were poor and we were good, or were we just great and made them look poor? Which way do you see it?
Well, I always give credit to the team that won. I mean, you can't say that Man City didn't try everything. Let's get it right. They played their best attacking team they could put on the pitch. I mean, that's the reason they didn't play with a DM, is because they thought they would be able to sustain the attack and not have to worry about it. Well, when I said it at halftime when I went on Sadiq's stream was, if we don't give the ball away, if we don't hurt ourselves, they cannot break us down from open play. It's gonna take a stupid pass or giving the ball away at an improper time for them to score on us. So we had them on lockdown, and that defense, we lost our key cog to our defense. Really, Thiago Silva, our heart and soul, got taken out. Everybody says, well, KDB got injured. That's why. No, we lost Thiago Silva. Let's not get this twisted. All right. Also,
De Bruyne did absolutely nothing until that point. So
yeah, we had him pocketed. I mean, you had Kante, world class. There's nothing you can say more about Ngolo Kante and what he does for this team. And the difference between him being on the pitch and him being off the pitch is something that you just see the difference in the team. That's why I said, for me, he's our player of the year, because the level we can get to, I'll address that in a minute. The level we can get to when Kante plays is higher than anybody else we can put on that pitch, because he's that big of a game changer.
If the system allows him to thrive, I 100% agree.
So, and as far as I have to eat humble pie, why? Because Mason Mount had an assist. So I have to eat humble pie because Mason Mount had an assist. I don't get that one, but that's okay. It's not that I don't rate Mount. You guys get that twisted.
You don't rate him as high as other people, and you just expect more from him, and that's fair enough. It's not like you've ever insulted him or abused him.
Right. If you're gonna say I'm player of the year, you need to come in the big games, and he did. He came in the biggest game of his career. So I have nothing but praise. But you can go to archive streams 2 years ago when everybody was on the Cho train. I was like, no, Mason Mount is our most talented youth product we have in the system.
Yeah.
I just believe that, first of all, there's no undroppable players on the team. Second of all, he's better as an 8, which he almost played that role last night. He was more midfielder than attacking, an attacking forward. So he was able to do that from deep, and we need to see that going forward next year from him. Because if you have that pass like that, you can cut a defense open with one pass. We need to see that from you every game. If you're going to be that guy, they're going to say, it's Lampard and Mount. If he wants to get there and you want to have a serious conversation, he has to start doing that more, and he has that in his locker. And so, all praise to Mount. He made the pass.
He did. He did.
Kai finished it though, and so the guy, he's one of those people that 72 million. He's a flop. Why did we get this guy? He's Bundesliga tax. Whatever you want to say, for whatever you want to say about Mount, he doesn't get slandered as much as non-English players that weren't performing to people's expectations. And the two Germans have gotten it. My guy gets it. And fair enough. I understand that's easy to slate the people that you don't want to cheer for. Okay, fine.
Don't you think it's more of a case of an academy project is given more leeway because they didn't cost the club big money, rather than someone that costs 50, 60, 70, 80 million. You're like, okay, we paid big money for you, so you have to be good right now. And I 100% agree with you. It's not always 1,000% fair, because the age is still their age. And just because he didn't come out of academy doesn't mean Kai Havertz is all of a sudden this great player. If Mount wasn't from our academy, we might have tried to sign him for big money. But I still think there's a little bit of an understandable level. And also, especially people from England, and, people will say that, that's whatever they are, and, Cobham sexuals, whatever. But people love their football club, and people love to see players that play for, that love their football club too. Who are our biggest legends? Our biggest legends are the players that love Chelsea as much as we do. Frank Lampard, John Terry, Didier Drogba. These players, they love the club as much as we do. And that's what Mount does. That's what these types of players do. And I think rather than just it being about performance, I think that's why we have almost an extra bit of affection for them. Because, and this is no criticism of Pulisic at all, Pulisic might leave one day. Might one day after, if he stays for the next decade or whatever. But if he doesn't, he will never have the connection to the club that Mount does. And you can disregard that if you want. That's totally fair. But I still think there's a little bit of an understandable reason behind it, if that makes sense.
No, I totally get that. That's a fair comparison, and it's an English club with a heavy English fan base. An English player that does well is always going to be more appreciated than maybe. Because right now you can do a poll. Who's a bigger Chelsea legend, Frank Lampard or Eden Hazard? Because Eden Hazard's
going to win.
Okay, what about Didier Drogba and Frank Lampard?
Lampard's going to win, I reckon.
Yes, guys.
Come on.
Hello.
Hi, that's a familiar face. Chinos, where you been, bro? It's been a minute. How have you been, man?
Like 9 months.
Yeah, it's been a while still, but how have you been, bro?
I've been good. I mean, look, just happy we won, really.
Yeah, I'd say I echoed that, but lightly, innit? Well, fucking what a last 24 hours, man.
Before I get to Con and Rajiv and back to Gino's as well, Lewis, why don't you tell us how your last 24 or 48 hours have been? Because my man got up at stupid hours Saturday morning, went out to Gatwick, took that plane all the way to Porto.
You think I even had sleep? Come on, man.
Well,
what is sleep? Bro, the only thing was that I will say thank God that we won, because if we didn't win, that's probably the worst sports package I've ever been a part of. That was an absolute farce. But we won the Champions League, so Sports Break can rip me off again if it comes to the same circumstance. I don't care. But the experience in the ground was mad. 14,000 fans sounded like 40,000 fans. Chelsea fans who were apparently quiet during the FA Cup final, that definitely wasn't the same fans, and we showed them exactly how loud we were in the FA Cup final, as well as today as well. Every player from the first to the last was impeccable. I thought defensively we were as solid as we always were going to be. Midfield, Kante had an absolute monster class, and Georginho was his solid best as always. Reece James, Ben Chilwell, amazing performance from the pair of them. Timo Werner, one of our best players in the first half, and Kai Havertz, who dropped a legacy performance in another Champions League game. And also, we can't forget Andreas Christensen coming on, and all them tummy ache memes finally getting thrown into the mud for good. My guy has started both semi-finals. Man even has the AC yard photo ready. I love to see it, man.
Keep the penitentiary going.
And we got the Man City fans in there and everything as well. Wait, where's Laurenz has gone as well? Okay, Laurenz has disappeared, but I guess I'm taking over for the last minute. Oh, no, he's back now. Perfect. But regardless, Andreas Christensen came on and dropped a legacy performance as well. Every block, every interception, every pass, not a single mistake made, but there was barely any mistakes made across the park. All 11 players came on and did a job on Manchester City, and it was always going to be a first goal win sort of game. That's why the emotions I felt when Kai Havertz scored, I have never felt those emotions in the football ground. I've heard a lot of people talk about the emotion in sports, and I've seen people crying at football so many times. I've never got to that point. Kai Havertz scored. I was bawling for about 30 minutes straight, just at the magnitude of the occasion that we're going to be champions of Europe in front of my own eyes for the second time, when I was growing up and we didn't even have one, and now we have two. I'm gonna be real with you. I fucking love this club. Top to bottom, I absolutely love Chelsea Football Club, and I guess it's the streaming and all the fan channels and everything, but this club has really become my life like that. We take the highs, we take the lows, because we have to report on it. We have to talk about it on a daily basis. So the club becomes part of us. The same way the club is always a part of anyone who supports them. If you're that, what's the word? If you're that
Passionate.
invested, not even that passionate, but if your life revolves around the club so much that you're working around it, fuck, a night like that, man, like the pinnacle of club football, it was honestly ridiculous, man. And I just hope for more nights like that in the future. I just want to see this club keep growing and keep going to the top and just keep on going from there. But we've made a massive statement yet again. The London argument is now officially in the mud. I've already said I'm no longer having this debate with fans anymore. If you have to ask me what colour London is, I have to ask you if you watch football. Because you clearly don't if you think there's a debate anymore. There isn't. One Champions League already accounted for the 7 league titles that we don't have. And the second Champions League is just another 7 on top of that. So we ain't having this debate anymore. If the first Champions League win didn't put Chelsea at the top, the second one has made it without a question now. And I think that's the greatest thing of this. 2 Champions League trophies. No one can try and deny how big we are as a football club. No one can try and say we're a small club or a fucking oil money club, because the other team that we played were probably a bigger oil money club than we are, and they spent years trying to get this trophy. They brought in Pep specifically for this trophy. They have spent years trying to even reach a final, and we have won it twice with probably, I want to say 2 of the least experienced sides or the least strongest sides in the Abramovich era. That's what a big club is about, because it's about up here. It's the mentality. It's the ruthlessness. It's not about how good the players are. It's about it's about what players turn up on the big occasion. And we fucking did that. We are the big club now, and we are not having this debate anymore. But thank God to Chelsea for giving us this confidence, because that's all that we've ever wanted. Just to be confident in the team, to be confident in the club that we support. And there's been so many times this season where we haven't been able to be. Where there's been so many question marks. And are we going forwards? Are we going backwards? Are we stagnating? We're the champions of Europe now. And we have a base to build on. We are now the most attractive club in Europe. We are the champions of Europe. It doesn't get more attractive than that. Now it's on the club. Because we know what we're like when we reach the top. We get hella complacent. If we ain't complacent, and if we go for our targets and we get our targets, we are only going further up from here. But we're in a brilliant spot. It's about maintaining it now. But yeah, what a fucking last 24 hours, man, honestly.
Oh man. I mean, I know the way home was a bit long for you, but I'm very jealous. I am very, very jealous that you got to experience
Laurenz,
that.
I wish you were there with me, man. Honestly, I really wish you were there. But we'll be in another Champions League final soon, and then you got no excuse in it. You got.
Then I've got no excuses. But Lewis, I need to ask you one question. You spoke about when we scored the goal and balling it out, and after and stuff. What was almost the? I know it's almost like a weird question, but obviously the goal kind of wins it for you, but the final whistle decides it for you. So where was the goal emotionally as big as the final whistle, or was the final whistle still another step above?
The final whistle was just limbs that we'd actually gone and done it. But like after the goal, it was the magnitude of everything just setting in. And I think after 75 minutes, I was just okay, we actually have to get through this. I can't keep fucking crying like a baby here. Like we actually have to focus through this. So by full time, I'd kind of controlled myself a little bit more by then. But for me, it was because, like I said, it was both teams are very similar in that they're strong in the midfield, have an amazing defensive structure, but aren't clinical. So it really did look like a first goal win sort of game. That's why that first goal meant so much. If we conceded that first goal, it's probably different tears coming down my eyes, because we are fucked. We're done. If they scored first, I'd have no confidence in us coming back, because we haven't really done that much this season. But for me, I think the moment where I really thought it was won was that Mahrez miss. Because in tight games like this, when it gets to the final few minutes of the game, there's always that one big final chance. And if it doesn't go in, you don't really get another one from then. I always feel like you can tell when a game's done. Even though sometimes football can happen and then you get another twist at the end, for the most part, you can tell when the game's done, where there's been the big final chance. And for me, it was that Mahrez one.
100%, no, 100%. And we have 2 new guests. I'm sorry that all of you guys that have tried.
I've got to jump off anyway. You guys all take care. Have a good night.
Take care. I'll talk to you soon, bro. I'll talk to you soon.
Definitely. Love, guys.
To get back to, and I'll get back to obviously the guest that joined earlier. I do apologize. Mo, Mr. Mohammed Idol. Sorry if I butchered your name. Tell me if I pronounced it wrong. A man who I've known even longer than I've actually known Lewis. People might not know this, but a man who I've known for a very, very long time. A man who I've stood on the terraces of Frankfurt Stadium with 2 years ago. A very sick man, in my opinion. It's been a long time since we spoke. Met each other in Amsterdam as well, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
How you doing, bro? How you doing?
I am good, man. I am good. I'm on cloud 9, bro. I'm still not recovered, man. Literally this morning I woke up, my voice was still not recovered. I was on Lewis's stream before this as well. My voice was just like in and out. I was like, let me stay quiet on this one still. And bro, man, first of all, thank you for the introduction, man. It's been a long ass time, bro, man. I appreciate you, man. And I'm just so happy we get to witness this as Chelsea fans, bro. When everybody was against us, writing us off from day dot, bro, everybody was expecting Chelsea to get hammered. And the fact that yesterday we dismantled this Man City team and actually made them look as bad as they did, for me, it needs to be given credit where it's due, man. I know what people are going to say is that, yeah, Pep did this, Pep did that, Pep tried and he took a risk. But man, did we deserve that, man. And for me, the goal going in was one thing. The funny story is I was on my way to a friend's house, literally going up the stairs of my and of the train station. And as I was going up the stairs, Havertz scores. Can you believe I forget I'm at the train station and I'm screaming out, almost dropping off these stairs, just like trying to hold it together, bro, and get there in one piece. And then when I get there, I'm like, oh my God, we have a whole second half to still go. And I'm like, flipping hell, bro. Let's see what they do in the second half. Is he going to make changes? And when he didn't, I don't know what it was, bro. I was just like, we're going to dominate more of this game if he doesn't make changes. And for me, it's the only change that he made that was significant for them was like that Fernandinho one. But besides that, man, we've won it, and we've won it deservedly. And when you're seeing your players go run like flipping 60 yards to try and flipping block a flipping shot off or block off a pass, that's when you know you're going to do it, bro. It's when you know these players are so hungry for it that I'm like, this is what I know that they can do when they want to do it. And for me, I can't wait to see what we do next season. All I can say is at this point in time, we're champions of Europe again, and we deserve it, and nobody can say anything about it.
Nobody can say a word. And Michael, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Yes, Lewis will post his matchday vlog, but he said it will probably be out tomorrow for various reasons. Crazily, my girlfriend has decided to turn up as well, even though she's at work. Love what you're doing. Why are you not working?
Hello.
Speak. Come on. Tell us your thoughts. There you go. Off you go now.
Like and subscribe to Laurenz. That's the only thing I wanted to say. I'm at work.
There you go. There you go. Hey, well, do you want to share anything more? Any thoughts, any feelings, or is that literally all you came here to say?
Don't buy Lukaku.
Oh, wow, interesting.
There you go.
But
there you go.
If you're still live in 25 minutes, I have time to chat to you guys.
All right.
There you go. Join us again then. Join us again then. Well, you're not going to leave.
She doesn't know how to leave, I think.
How can I leave?
Well, there's a leave studio button somewhere. I've never been on the phone, so I don't really know, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there should be. There should be.
I found it. Bye.
Well, there you
Take
go.
care. Peace.
Lewis,
See, I have to teach her things, you know. It's difficult to know what buttons to click. Sorry, before I get to Con, because the man hasn't said a word in about half an hour, let me quickly talk to Jay, who literally became a member to jump on this stream, I presume. So, Jay, first of all, thank you for that. And how you feeling?
Just a quick check if you guys can actually hear.
Can you speak up a little bit because I can barely hear you, bro?
actually.
I can either of you hear him? I can't hear him.
No, I can't hear him either.
Try again.
I'm not sure if you guys can actually hear me.
No, we're struggling. I don't know. Maybe you need to get earphones or something because we cannot hear you. Try again. Put it in a private chat when you're kind of ready to try again. And oh, now I can hear you breathe at least. So try again.
Can you hear me now?
Nah. I don't know if you need earphones or something, but we'll go with something. But Con, I have a question for you because Mo kind of touched on it here already. Because for me, as much as everyone will make it out, if Pep started a DM and he bottled it and this and that, sure, maybe one or two of our counterattacks would have been stopped. But I don't think it would have made any difference. I think we would have probably still won 1-0. It definitely wouldn't have made them be more dangerous attacking-wise if they had Fernandinho or Rodri on the pitch. So I think people are giving Pep a bit of unnecessary stick, but at the same time giving him too easy stick. Like, he was just outdone, and it wasn't just him making a mistake in terms of selection, in my opinion. But how do you see that, Con?
Bro, let me just put it this way. We've beaten City this season when they've played Fernandinho. We've beaten City this season when they played Rodri. We've beat Man City when they haven't played either. Like, there's always an excuse and I'm bored of it. We beat City. They went gun-ho and got one shot on target. Congrats, City. Like, they can blame Pep as much as they want, but we've just got City's number. Tuchel has Pep's number. It's as simple as that. We've beaten with Rodri, like I said. We've beaten with Fernandinho, and we've beaten without. It doesn't matter who City put out, we'll beat them. Tuchel has Pep's number. Don't care what City fans say. That's the reality, and that's the facts.
Well, fair play. I don't think there's much to disagree with that. Let me go with you, Alex. Do you agree with that? Do you think it wouldn't have made much of a difference, or do you think it was just a Pep howler that allowed us to win the game?
I mean, I have to say, I am... Okay, here's the thing. At the end of this day, I said basically before the game started, at the end of this day, there will be two teams that we obviously sorry, okay, I'm basically messing up, but I'm just still emotional from this game. But
it's all good,
at the end of this day, of yesterday, basically, I said there will be one team that will stand, one team that will fall. Man City fell, Chelsea, they stood. Now, the thing is that Chelsea were the underdogs. People who say otherwise, I mean, I don't believe them. I really don't believe them because it was Man City's to lose. And yes, Pep Guardiola did overthink it. The reason why he overthinked it is because he went all-out attack from minute one. He didn't have Fernandinho. He didn't have Rodri. Thomas Tuchel expected that one of those two players was going to be playing. It doesn't matter about De Bruyne. It doesn't matter about Raheem Sterling. At the end of the day, the fact that he didn't pick a proper DM meant that Man City went all out attack. And that was the big mistake. Look, we also had a lot of chances. And, I mean, you can say whatever you want about Werner. But, look, the first one for me, it was just a bounce issue. He just misjudged the flight of the ball. The second one, yes, okay, he went on target. It wasn't powerful enough.
The second one is a howler. Like,
yeah, the second one, I agree.
Even if he gets it on target,
which is why I say
Edison saves it anyway. But the second one is a howler. I know that's what you're saying. But
yeah, I completely agree with you. But yeah, and then the third one, well, it was going to go on target. It was powerful enough. The problem is it was blocked.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's having a go at him for the third one. Really, that was a tight angle.
The point is, we had lots of chances, but I think there was still that hope from a lot of people that we were going to get it. Look, Thiago Silva, he came off. Yes, that was not ideal. But I still had hope there was a chance. I don't know. Am I echoing? Just to know.
No, I think you're fine.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I still had hope, even though Thiago Silva came off and Christensen came on. I still had hope that Chelsea was going to score. And you know what was written in the stars? Kai Havertz, number 29, scoring on the 29th of May, being assisted by Mason Mount, number 19, 19th of May 2012. And number 19, Mason Mount. That was written in the stars.
It was. I mean, whether it's written in the stars, it's. I mean, I love what's the word? It's not really superstitions, but when things just make sense, it's fun to talk about them and say, oh, it was always going to happen like that. It's fun in a way to talk about. By the way, appreciate the super chat with Jack a lot, saying Mendy, this is his first ever trophy as a player. Yes, it is. What a story. What a story. What a man. And to see him break down in tears, hug his mother after the game. And, we know the story that when he was unemployed, not having a job in football or anywhere else, his mum had to help him out financially and stuff. And, that story it's just beautiful. But Jester, let me bring it back to you. Do you feel that if they played Fernandinho, we would have struggled a significant amount more? Because I agree with what Alex just said, that obviously they went all-out attack from the start. But at the same time, that also improved their press. I think the only thing that they really lost by that is they didn't have anybody playing that is good at just sniffing where the ball drops. And I heard people talk about this yesterday. And, strikers have this ability of just, well, good strikers at least. They have this ability of, they know where to be and they just manage to put it in. While midfielder, someone like Ngolo Kante, he just has this ability that isn't feasible in stats and in numbers. He just has this ability to know where the ball's going to drop and to get there. And Man City have that in Fernandinho and with Rodri to some extent too. But Gundogan doesn't. And Bernardo Silva certainly doesn't. And De Bruyne and Foden don't either. And that was their midfield. And I think that's where it was the significant problem for them, because I still think their press is better with the way they turn up yesterday. And I still think their defense just had a bad day as well. So I personally, I don't think they would have scored if they had Fernandinho on. And I still think we probably would have scored one. But Jester, how do you see that? Would Fernandinho starting have made such a big difference to them? You're muted.
Sorry about that. I guess everybody's kind of forgetting we had chances after Fernandinho was on the pitch.
True.
I think Pulisic's chance came after he was on the pitch. There was a couple others that potentially could have been. No, I don't think it makes a difference. I think we're the better team. We had the better coach tactically. And, there's always that team out there that you can't beat. They just have your number, as they say. And I think we have Pep's number. I think, first of all, if you sit back and you have quality that you can sit back with and counter them, they've always been there. Same as Liverpool, because they play such a high line. And when you have such quality on the pitch, yes, it'll work against Burnley. It'll work against mid-table clubs. When you have quality on the pitch, like a Mason Mount who can make that pass, or you've seen that from Kovacic. You have Georginho that can make that pass, and you have somebody who can come in and finish, or at least one person that can come in and finish. I mean, the other one, makes the play, but we'll discuss that later.
He tries.
He tries. I coined a phrase on Lewis's channel. It's to Werner. He had the most Werner game that Werner could have.
Yeah,
he does everything else
put
well.
His entire season into one night.
He does everything else well, but the one thing we want him to do is put the ball in the back of the net. I would be fine if he put some games, Timo, don't run as much, put the ball in the back of the net, and we can say he didn't have a great all-around game, but at least he scored. I'd love to say that. Right? I'd rather say that than the other way around.
He would be Tammy, I suppose.
Fair enough. But I just think that whatever Pep was going to do, we were going to win. Because if Fernandinho's on,
go on.
They don't press as high, maybe with the intensity, and so Georginho gets on the ball longer, and we start controlling the game a little bit more and playing off the front foot. So there was always a counter to whatever Pep was going to do because of the way Tuchel coaches the players, the structure he's instilled in them. Everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing in a particular time. You can't always say that with Frank being there. Sometimes even the players said they didn't know what they were supposed to be doing. With Tuchel, each player knows, okay, if this happens, I'm supposed to do this. And so you can see the levels already, and we have another summer with him to have a preseason, and it's just going to get better. So My answer.
100%. And I really hope it gets better, because the big thing that we need to fix up is beating teams when we're not the underdog. That's what we are still struggling a little bit, regardless of who the manager is, it seems. Super chat by Rodrigo, by the way. Last trophy that we won was on May 29th, 2019, exactly 2 years ago. This was meant to be. It was. Again, big up Maurizio Sarri. And we have another super chat here by Blue Boy, just saying subscribe. And like he says, we have 400 people watching. Get subscribed if you haven't already. We're on the road to 15K, I suppose. So make sure you subscribe. Smash the like button as well. That'd be massively appreciated. And Blue Boy, you're a member as well. So if you want to hop on the stream, the link is in the community tab on my YouTube channel.
Bro.
So
It's a really old YouTube account I have. It's like really old.
I had no clue. That's you. My bro is in the stream and donating. You're a hero, bro. You are an absolute hero. But before I get to you, Con, because I need to give you extra airtime now, basically. Mo, because I haven't spoken to you yet. I suppose of Con I already know, but let's just get to hyping a few individuals, because it was a great night and all of them individually were absolutely fantastic. But for you, who was your man of the match? And if it's Kante, who was your second man of the match? Because I think most people are going to pick Kante except Con.
Yeah, I think you've literally taken it out of my mouth. I was going to say Ngolo Kante, bro. And I think for me, the second person, straight up, Reece James. As crazy as this sounds to people, for me, yesterday he showed he's not just a young kid from our academy. He's a man. And he's done a job on Raheem Sterling that I think people may think is an easy job, but we all know Raheem Sterling on his best days can be a very difficult individual to deal with, and on a few occasions got away. But Reece James was just clever enough to get there and actually make the right interception, or just use his body to try and make sure that he doesn't get the shots off as best as he wanted. And I think for me, Reece James just showed this maturity that I've been looking for, and this flexibility that I have been waiting for, if I'm honest with you, because one of my complaints leading up into this game was like we put him in this right of the center backs, and I felt like he should be a wing back and he should be causing much more problems on the wing. But yesterday, what I noticed was actually him and Aspie at moments were just switching, which just made it even more difficult for Man City to keep a track of. And I feel like, as much as what people are going to talk about in terms of Pep, like trying to take a risk, I think what you'll notice with Tuchel is that he's not afraid to take risks. He's got a formation that he's set up, but the players are being asked to do multitude of things. Our players are finally understanding what it means to be positionally fluid, because for me, positionally being fluid has allowed that Havertz goal to even occur. Because at one moment, what you'll notice is you get Werner next to the center backs, and then all of a sudden he's running towards the middle to try and get the ball, which drags Stones. He then leaves Stones to make a run, and Ruben Dias is then attracted, and then before you know it, that space out wide is just there for us to actually exploit. And Mason Mount with that pass that I will never ever forget, man. I can pick out so many performances, man. Chilwell is someone else I would even make a big shout about, because he made some really good challenges and was in the right place at the right time. And bro, there's no one I can literally say you've had a bad game or you did nothing for us in this match. I think the team as a unit showed up, did the best they could, and it really stifled Man City of creating chances, of having the game the way they wanted. And honestly, we fully deserved it.
No, I could not agree more. Just because Con literally put a super chat in. Let me go to you, Con. I know it's Kai, but I know we raved about him last night, but we haven't really raved about him enough today. So why don't you take over and start the Kai Havertz rave, bro?
Happily. I tried to put like and sub, but for some reason it didn't let me put that, so I just put sub. But Kai Havertz, man, absolute baller, going to be one of the best players in the year. Well, I can't even talk, sorry. I'm so hot. It's so hot in England right now. We're not used to this weather, so allow me. I'm a bit lightheaded. But yeah, Kai Havertz will be the best player in the year in years to come, man. He's so good. Last night, I think he gets man of the match. As good as Ngolo was, right, and he was fantastic. He was Ngolo. He comes up with that moment, And I said to you, Laurenz, like, Champions League's all about moments. And Kai Havertz took his. And he was fantastic as well. He should have had an assist. My boy Pulley. Good save from Edison. That we spoke about that yesterday, of course, but he was just fantastic. He just looked so effortless out there. You wouldn't think he was playing against Man City with how he was playing. He even got a cheeky nutmeg on Kyle Walker. I think a lot of people missed, you know. It's just how he plays. He's fantastic. He really did run the show. And Laurenz with the biggest stub of his life here saying he should start over Pully in the Champions League final. Big dub there. Round of applause for my guy. But he's just sensational, man. And Roman Abramovich being there to see the player he really wanted, because I think we need to remember that. That's the player Roman really wanted. It wasn't Lampard. It wasn't Marina. That was Roman. He said, I want Kai Havertz. And Kai Havertz delivered. And his interview with Aspi yesterday, oh my gosh, this guy is going to become such a loved guy at Chelsea, man. Like he said, who gives a fuck about that? We just won the Champions League.
Exactly.
Love him.
I mean, I said it last night already. I thought it was outrageous that the interviewer even brought up the transfer fee. Bro, he's just won us the Champions League final. Stop talking about bloody transfer fees. Get in the bin, man. But
bro, do you think
the reaction to it? And we need a chance for Kai. We need a chance for Kai ASAP.
I don't mean to interrupt you there, bro. But do you think the report turns around and asks, oh, so Pep, let's say they won it, right? Pep, how does it feel spending like 500 million on your defense? Of course they ain't going to say stuff like that. It's only Chelsea, innit? But who cares? Kai Havertz put it in the back of the net. 90% of the footballing world were in tears because everyone hates us. And you know what? When they're crying, we're laughing. We love it. Kai Havertz, baller.
100%. Just I saw you mimicking there that your man of the match wasn't Ngolo Kante. So who actually was your man of the match then?
It was Kai for me. I think that when everybody talks about generational talent, I think that you saw why everybody said this kid's a generational talent.
I agree.
You saw it because on the biggest stage, when other people were fluffing it or weren't putting the ball where it wouldn't need to be, he was the one that came up with the big goal, and he was great all game. Let's not get it twisted. It wasn't that moment alone. Everything good that our offense created went through Kai Havertz tonight. So, for me, it's always about what do you do to win the game. Ngolo does what he does, but you win by scoring, right? The last time I checked, 0-0 is a draw. So that's why I gave him the edge. And because it wasn't just, like I said, it wasn't just that moment. It was the entire game. He was brilliant the entire game. And he should have had 2 assists. Let's
agree.
Because you say that Ederson would have saved the first attempt by Timo if he would have put it on target. Well, we don't know that because he didn't put it on target.
That's very true.
You know, what if it goes off the bar and goes in? You know,
no, 100%. Or if he just really badly mishits it and it kind of just bobbles into the far corner, of course. No, you're 100% right. Let's not say he should have had 2 assists, but he certainly could have had 2 assists.
He could have had 2 assists. So I just think that we should never speak on the transfer fee again. Debt paid 100 times over.
Yeah.
Same with Kepa. Man sitting there with the Europa League
but he won the
Champions League, but he played earlier, right? If people were given, he played some in the Champions League in the earlier rounds. If I'm correct,
he played against Krasnodar. Come on.
So if Frank is going to get credit for getting us through those times, doesn't Kepa? I'm taking a piss a little bit, but that guy has that around his neck as well as with the transfer fee. Well. You've got a Europa League and a Champions League in your locker.
Can't complain. Can't complain. And I mean, like we touched on this already. I know some of us have complained about maybe he shouldn't have played the FA Cup final and maybe Mendy would have saved the shot at Tillemans. You can't always look at it that way. But one thing's for sure, the performances Kepa has been able to show under Tuchel have certainly raised his value to a little bit higher of a standard again compared to where it was when Frank left. So if we're going to be able to sell him this summer, we're certainly going to make more money from him, even if it just for those 5 games or whatever that he did play for Tuchel. And just to add one more thing for Kai before I go to Alex again, I think not only was he brilliant on the ball and in those individual moments that we discussed already, but I think he was, first of all, super, super disciplined. And I don't want to make this, again, no dig at Pulisic, but I think that was part of the reason why he started over Pulisic. because I think Kai is more disciplined in terms of sticking to what he's told. Just because Pulisic is more of a, I don't know, a creative, a free spirit, it seems to me. And Kai sticks to, well, is a free spirit once he's on the ball, but off the ball, the man will do what he's told. And the way him and Mount as well made sure that Man City couldn't make use of their incoming fullbacks in Kyle Walker and Zinchenko was absolutely brilliant. They didn't allow them to push up, which made the job for both Chilwell and Reece James plus the wide centre backs a little bit easier. And they just made it so much more comfortable for everybody. Like, it's crazy. And I think Kai did a fantastic job that way. So Rajiv, I mean, you were here a minute ago, so surely you have the link already. I'm a bit confused. Like, just go to where you found the link last time. But if not, just put it in the chat. You don't have to use the super chat. I'll see it. Don't worry, because you can't find it. Or go on my YouTube channel. There should be a community button. Click on that, and then the last post. If you click on see more, there's the StreamYard link. Because I'm not sure if I follow you anywhere, so I'm not sure if I can send you the link anywhere. But Alex, who was actually your man of the match? And if it's Kante, it's fine. We need to talk about Kante at some point.
Here's the thing. I don't have a man of the match.
Oh, well, that's boring.
No, but here's the thing. There's a reason for that. Our defense was rock solid. It was superb. I mean, you could give it to Reece James. Rudiger was immense. Chilwell was immense. Kante was immense. I mean, Georginho was very good. Mason Mount, I think he was very underrated today. There's not a lot of people who talked about Mason Mount. I mean, the fact that he drops in midfield and his playmaking ability, and the fact that also, despite the fact that Werner made those different runs to distract the defenders, my logic was, okay, so he's making those runs. Surely Mason is going to pass it to Werner. But then suddenly, out of nowhere, he finds Kai Havertz and passes it to him. So, look, I mean, I know Kante probably, obviously, was given the man of the match, but I think there is a huge shout for Mason Mount as well. So if you had to tell me any other player than Ngolo Kante, I'd say Mason Mount.
That's interesting because Mount, well, I completely agree, he had a great game. He was less involved than he usually is because of how disciplined we had to be. And when we did have a lot of offensive moments, it was usually Kai or Timo bottling it, or making great runs. So Mount wasn't quite as involved as he often was, but just to hype it up, that defensive run from him, 70, 80-yard sprint in the first half to win a tackle literally on the edge of our own box, is so underrated and so unbelievable that I cannot even find enough words to express how impressive that was, in my opinion. But the pass was certainly absolutely brilliant, and there's absolutely no two ways about that.
Yeah.
US men's national team is coming. Who are you playing?
Switzerland.
Right now?
Yep.
Well, there you go. Off you go. Well, good luck to... Well, no, I can't say US national team, so good luck to Switzerland, but have fun watching it.
I know you can't. All right, we'll see y'all later.
Take care.
Talk later, Jester. Good to speak to you, bro. Let me get to you, Rajiv. Who was your man of the match yesterday?
I think my man of the match has to be Kante. He was absolutely world class. I think Nini have said this, Eunice have said this, and I'm gonna probably come to an agreement here. If he doesn't get a Ballon d'Or in the next few years, I'm going to be very upset. I think he's proven time and time again he's kind of gotten to the stage where he deserves a Ballon d'Or. He's won the Champions League, he's won the Europa League, he's won the Premier League, he's won the FA Cup, he's won the Carling Cup. Only thing he needs, if anything now, is the Euros, isn't it? He's won the World Cup. I think he deserves it. He really does. But overall, I think along with Kante, I'd say the thing is though, I can't really say there's one player that stood out because they all stood out end of the day, right? And I think if I was to give another name a shout out who stood out yesterday, it was Mason Mount. He was something else. He's different gravy. I'm sorry, you know how they're saying Foden was different gravy in class. Mount was just different. different level. Honestly, the improvement from when he was under Lampard.
It's a shame that Jester isn't here anymore, because I would love to know if Americans, instead of different gravy, just say different, like, ranch or something, just because they just use different sauce. Imagine Americans when they talk about like American football or basketball. I said that he's different ranch.
Yes, yeah.
Sorry, go on, Rajiv. I interrupted you. Go on.
Well, yeah, I was saying, like, I think Mount is just different gravy. He's proven it. He has improved drastically under Lampard. Overall, I think like his gameplay, everything. Tuchel done something to make that guy improve to the next level, and he needs to keep it going. But again, I mean, what really upsets me, right? And I wanted to tell myself earlier. I wanted to express myself earlier on, but obviously I had to do a few things and a few errands. But what I was trying to say earlier on, obviously before going ahead about the manager side of it, is that what really upsets me is the fact that what Lou is saying is people put us down so much, right? And they all say Mason Mount is this, Mason Mount is that. And it really upsets me. I have to keep listening to this, right? And I think from yesterday's performance, it's just proven that Mason Mount is that player. He can play as a number 8. He can play as a number 10. He can play as a number 6, for goodness sake. And he can play as a hybrid number 10, the same role that Dele Alli played in the Euros. Again, he's proven time and time again he can do it. He's got what it takes. He's just to keep going. And obviously, I can't remember if it was you that said it, somebody else said it, basically saying that you can't compare him to Pucelic, because Pucelic can't be that club, that actual legend if he leaves. Whereas Mount, he'll be remembered for the coming years. That's the thing with Mount, isn't it? I think that's something we all can agree with. You can tell he's going to become a club legend in the next 10 years, but hopefully it all goes wishing the best for him. But yeah, I think everybody was class. Kante was different level, different gravy, as usual, world class. But I think obviously Mason Mount was the stud out really as well. Really, I can't really say. I can't honestly. You know what I mean? It's just everybody was just class.
They all stood out. They were all absolutely fantastic. And we have another super chat here. But Anandia, sorry if I butchered your name. I do apologize, but I appreciate the $5 donation, saying thanks, Lau, for every live stream covering a wonderful season. It really was a wonderful season if you really deep it. We won the effing Champions League. Oh boy, we did. Oh boy, we did. And actually, Chinos, you're so famous, you literally got a super chat just dedicated to you, because Rodrigo asked, Alice H, are you Osasuna from HH channel? Big up, bro. I don't know what he's talking about, but
I have no idea.
Are you?
No, I don't think so. I don't have any other account.
Oh, Timo, something happened with your mic. You sound like the worst robot I've ever seen.
You sound like a Dalek now. This must have happened to me before.
Try again. I know he's trying to fix it. All right, just speak up when you think you fixed it. Just speak up when you think you fixed it. Because Rajiv mentioned something, and Father, big up yourself. If you want to join, you can find the StreamYard link literally on my community tab. So go to my YouTube channel, click community tab. You're here already, I think. So there you go. Big up yourself. Oh, we have another super chat. I haven't even seen it. By Michael Ball. Big up yourself, Michael. London is blue. Up the shells. Europe is blue. Everything's blue. I'm having a great old time. Even my flag's blue.
Right, London's blue. And
make sure, guys, smash the like button, because that means the like button turns blue, because we want everything to be blue. But Rajiv mentioned it a minute ago in terms of Kante and the Ballon d'Or. And you know what? I'll start with you, Father. Do you actually, and you tell me how I actually properly pronounce your name, because I've called you.
Fine. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
All right. Do you think he? Let's not say he will win the Ballon d'Or, because it's a vote by captains and managers and journalists, so who knows? But do you think he's an actual shout, even if he doesn't win the Euros, or do you think only if he wins the Euros he's a serious contender?
It's a hard debate. I think if he wins the league, if he wins the Euros, let's say if he wins the Euros this year, then he wins that Club World Cup in December, I think he might be a big shot to win the Ballon d'Or this year. And if you look at the Euros right now, the only team that could stop France, probably Portugal. England, I'm not sure. Germany, still in transition phase. Spain, same like Germany, but I think if Kante win the Euros, and then let's say if he wins the Super Cup, then again when the World Cup in Japan in December, he's got to be the great shot for the Ballon d'Or. And hello, Chinos.
I knew that was coming.
I think I need to explain this. So Chinos is a great guy, but his favorite types of trousers are chinos.
Well,
and
not anymore. I mean, now I'm only wearing jeans now, so that's not true.
He's upgraded, guys. He's upgraded
now.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But that ruined everything. Then we have to call you Ginzo or something. That's way less.
No, don't, please don't. Just call me Alex for once.
No, but Gino, I would be so happy if I would be called. But I don't wear chinos, so I can't be called chinos. But if I wore chinos, I think chinos is one of the sickest nicknames I've ever heard anybody have personally. But yeah, I mean, my girlfriend's back. She's done with work. So, go just tell us.
Hello.
Do you think Kante should win the Ballon d'Or?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Well, no, you can't elaborate.
There's nothing to elaborate. Like, it's so obvious in my opinion.
Well, then there you go. I'll come. Well, actually, who was your man of the match last night? Because she went to sleep before I finished streaming last night. And then I slept until 1 p.m. and that's when she had to go to work. So we haven't really managed to speak much yet. Anyway, who was your man of the match last night?
I think it has to be Kai, innit? It has to be him. Because without him, we wouldn't be as gassed as we are now.
True. It's a fair point.
So Kai is my man of the match. Probably should take off this mask. Innit?
Yeah, Switzerland and that. You know, them were dodgy masks anyway. We've had to wear the real mask for God knows.
No.
Compared to our masks, it is. But Con, of course she was going to say no, it's not.
Couple of views on the stream.
There you go. Con, do you think Kante should win the Ballon d'Or? Do you think he's a serious shout? I think Alex put it in a private chat. It's only really between him and Lewandowski at this point. Obviously, I personally believe a lot of it will depend on the Euros. Like if say Portugal win the Euros, just as an example, and Fernandes is the standout player, people will make a case for Bruno Fernandes. If England win the Euros, people might make a case for, I don't know, Harry Kane. You know, I mean, Johnny will definitely make a case for Mason Mount, you know, but, you know, if France win the Euros and Mbappe wins them like every game, people will make a case for Mbappe. What about Benzema? Do you know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of people in contention, but it's one of those years where Barcelona only won the cup, so is Messi quite in there? In 2021, he's been brilliant, so let's see what he does until the end, because I find it weird anyway. They should change the Ballon d'Or to hand that out like in summer, because I think it's so stupid in January. Like, it makes no sense, because you have half a season of the next season, but you don't know whether any of their goals or performances have mean anything yet. So I think it's stupid to do it in January. Anyway, Con, do you think Kante should win it, like genuinely?
First, I just want to apologise to Laurence's girlfriend because I called your boyfriend beautiful the other day.
Oh, no.
So
I was dying. I said to him, "Hi, boss," and he just replied with "Sup, beautiful." I was like, "What?"
Obviously, he told me already.
But if Modric can win one, I think Ngolo can win one. That's how I see it. If France win the Euros, that cements it for me. If they don't, then Louis has a good chance. Harry Kane has a good chance. Messi still has a great chance. But come on, Ngolo got man of the match in both legs against Real and the Champions League final. It speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. I'd like to see him win one. I think he deserves it. When Ngolo smiles, I smile, it's infectious. It makes me happy. So, yeah, I think he deserves it. But if he doesn't win one, I don't think it would be unjust. But if he wins one, I don't think it would be unjust also, because I think there's a lot of players in that pool right now.
Yeah, I mean, Clutch makes a fair point here. He thinks Lewandowski might get it because they think he should have, or they will say he should have won it last year, and he should have done. He absolutely, well, he would have done, but they scrapped the award. So, because of the pandemic, which I still don't really understand. What logic is that? Except that the Liga was terminated. What difference did that make? Like, I don't really understand. But I mean, and I'm not gonna try to down talk Kante at all. But obviously, yes, Lewandowski didn't win the Champions League this year, but the reason they got knocked out is because he was injured. If he played, they probably would have never been knocked out. So you could argue that almost puts him another step above, if that makes sense. Not above Kante, but in terms of that gives him a boost. I don't know. And he broke like a 60-year-old, 50-year-old record in the Bundesliga of scoring 41 goals in 29 appearances. Ridiculous. But you know what? Let me get to you, Mo. Because obviously, spoken a lot about the Kante and Ballon d'Or and blah, blah, blah. But hey, he won man of the match. He won at the legs against Atletico. He won man of the match in both legs against Real Madrid. And he won man of the match, officially at least, in the Champions League final. You can't do much bigger than that now, can you, Mo?
You really can't, man. Honestly, the thing, I think what Con said is definitely spot on, though. Like, what cemented for me is what happens at that Euros. And the only other player, I think what Alex is saying in terms of Lewandowski is like, I think he is the player that I generally feel like was robbed last year. And he should have easily gotten that Ballon d'Or. And to me, the fact that he's been breaking records, I'm actually quite shocked. Correct me if I'm wrong here as well, Laurenz. But who won the Bundesliga Player of the Year?
Haaland did, for some weird reason. That was a fan-voted award, which is weird.
Like, he could have easily won the young player. Like, that to me, unless they don't have that, then I'm confused. But still, like, for me, the guy keeps on getting snubbed for quite clearly what he should be rewarded for. But for me, yeah, honestly speaking, bro, Ngolo Kante is one of the most humble footballers that makes anybody happy. Even the neutrals speak about it, man. This, like, as much as Chelsea's hated, Ngolo Kante ain't. And I think yesterday, like, more often than not, when people spoke to me, they mentioned his name and said, like, they love the fact that they can see someone like him succeed and be so nice and be just so wonderful as a human being. Even the fact when he saw the Champions League trophy, everyone was kissing it, and he's the only one that doesn't do it. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just the type of human being he is. And I generally feel like he has to be at least in the top 3, if anything. If he's not in the top 3, I'd be very, very shocked. And honestly, I do think the Euros will play a big part in it, and I just want to see as many more successes as possible. I'm hearing we're offering him a new contract, which is a very positive thing to hear. So long may it continue, man. I'm just so happy for the team, but I'm happy for Ngolo Kante, man. The guy deserves everything he gets, man. There was people saying that he was finished. We should be selling him on, all that stuff. I hope you're eating your words right now, man. This is why you don't speak too soon about stuff and you understand the context behind situations, because you can tell he was overplayed at one point that caused him to have injuries throughout the season. And now, since suddenly we started to manage it a lot better, you're seeing these performances like he's in his prime still. So for me, that shows you a lot about the type of player he is. And I honestly hope for as long as we can have him, we do have him in that squad, because he clearly is someone that is a cheat code in my own opinion, because fam, he's like 3 players in one. I don't understand what he does on that pitch, but he's everywhere.
No, he is, to be fair. And people said the Euros matter a lot. Mind you, there is also Copa America going on. So if something crazy happens and Argentina actually win something, you never know. Messi's probably back with it. You never know if Uruguay win it. Suarez won La Liga. Wouldn't be surprised if they hand it out to him as well. So I suppose we'll have to wait and see. Jay, we're trying. Let's try again. If the mic works now, speak.
Right, does it work now?
I'm hearing a lot of background noise, but I'll give you 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or whatever. Share your thoughts. How are you feeling after yesterday, bro?
Honestly, incredible. Like, ridiculously incredible. I can't believe it still feels a bit surreal, to be honest, that we won it. Sometimes I still look at the pictures and I just see like Mount with the trophy, and I feel like that doesn't really feel real. And it's just incredible. I haven't really got too many words.
No, say that again.
I haven't really got too many words to describe it, to be honest.
No, 100%. Like it's difficult. Obviously, it's what I do. I have to find words, but especially last night, it was a case of I honestly I was in a situation where I don't even know what to say anymore. It's honestly crazy. And I can't remember, one of you guys mentioned Chile and Emerson, not Emerson, Reece James. I wanted to talk about those because, Reece James from the academy, and people were already talking about him a lot last year, but then he was injured at the start of the season. Aspie still played a lot and he was kind of in and out. And then, this season as well, Tuchel played him most of the time. But then sometimes it was Callum Hudson-Odoi right wing back. Sometimes in the last few weeks it was Van Aspie at right wing back. Reece didn't start either of the games against Real Madrid in the semi-final. Do you know what I mean? But now to turn out with that performance yesterday in the final is absolutely outstanding for me. Like, the guy is so strong, we know that. He's fairly quick, we know that. And we also know how he's just so ridiculously good and calm on the ball. Like, he never gets stressed and he never loses the ball. And if he does get nicked it, he just goes into God mode and just shoves the guy off without fouling him somehow and has it back, no problem at all. It's ridiculous. Honestly, it's ridiculous. And Chile as well. A lot of people were doubting the £50 million transfer fee. And sure, it's expensive for a very young left back, but we signed a 23-year-old. Do you know what I mean? We signed a 23-year-old. The guy will only get so much better, and he's got a work rate. And the man, a little bit like Thiago, but almost differently because he's English, he doesn't feel like he joined us a year ago. It feels like he joined us God knows how many years ago. It feels like he's just one of the group with Mason and Reece and all of these guys. It feels all the same to me. And what a performance for both of those guys. And who do I go with? Father, you here? Because I can't see your camera and you're muted, so I'm not sure if you're here. There you are. How do you feel about Reece? And how about I let you talk about Chile and then I'll go to Alex for Reece James.
I think Chile B played well yesterday. You can see the one-on-one against Havertz yesterday. He was so immense. He locked Riyad Mahrez in the pocket. I mean, the way that he defended at the back and going forward, it's so icy to watch though. And people generally think that Chile is the best left back in the league. Well, I don't think so. Ben Chilwell, I think, is the best left back in Europe right now. And I honestly genuinely think that I think Chile B can have a great Euros if England does do well, But yeah, man, it's a great shot for Chile B. It's one of the great shots to be one of the men of the match. But yeah, man, I just love this guy when it comes to this team. He just came in first season, already won the Champions League. Literally, that dream came true for him.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, he's been absolutely fantastic. And I also loved his interview. I can't remember. I think it was before the Cup final, which obviously didn't go our way, sadly. But still, in the end, I really loved to see how he spoke about, obviously, when Tuchel came in and he played that first game at left wing back and even said he was kind of struggling with his own positioning, right? And so then Alonso came in the side and he was trying to learn of Alonso. He was trying to ask the manager questions, trying to improve and get better. And with how much better he got, like, not only has he gotten better as a player full stop, he's learned a new position. Sure, people will say left back, left wing back isn't that different. There is a difference to it. And with how brilliantly he's played over the last few weeks and months, he was absolutely brilliant against Porto. Literally, in the end, scored us the goal that took us through. Because if it only was Mason's goal, their overhead kick would have equaled that out. Honestly, incredible. And then obviously against Real Madrid, he was brilliant. And then obviously again last night, what a player. But Alex, what about Reece James? How good was he last night?
I mean, last night he was amazing. There's no denying he pocketed Sterling. He absolutely pocketed Sterling. But here's the thing. It's one thing to be very good over the past couple of games, especially against Leicester as well. Like, he was impressive defensively. But, I mean, I remember, I think, like today, Matisse was tweeting like, this guy's going to be the next Ivanovic or something like that. And I said, whoa. Cool your horses here. Because, I mean, the thing about Reece James is that the reason why he hasn't played so much is that defensively, he hasn't been as great overall this season. So what I want to see in the Champions League, what I've seen in the Champions League, if he can do that on a consistent basis, okay, yeah, he probably will enter the realms of being a better defender than Wan-Bissaka. But that's what I want him to prove now. That's his next step. So yes, he did very well in the Champions League final. Well, I'm saying that, like, 1 or 2 seasons ago, there was definitely arguments of Wan-Bissaka's defense being
Reece James
better.
Playing a championship, bro.
Look, what I'm basically saying is that as long as he continues on this performance and he does it consistently, that's what I want to see now. And that way, then we can talk about whether or not he's turning into the next Ivanovic.
I mean, it's weird because Ivanovic is an interesting person. Ivanovic is always a Chelsea grey, and obviously he won us the Europa League final. Unfortunately, was suspended for the Champions League final 9 years ago. He was a great player, but Reece James started and was one of the best 4 players in the Champions League final. There's an argument to be made. He's already above Ivanovic.
Look, I understand that point. I'm just trying to say I want that to happen consistently. So not just in a one-off game. I'm talking about next season. I want to see him do that, in most of the games. Because obviously we know that Dave, Cesar Azpilicueta, is generally very consistent when it comes to his performances. I want Reece James now to start taking over and to say, right, I can consistently perform both in defense and both in attack. That's what I want to see from him now.
Fair dues. Con, what are your thoughts on what Alex just said about Reece James? Do you echo those? Do you think, because in my opinion, my eyes, I agreed with that, let's say almost a year ago or even 7-8 months ago, but I think he has significantly improved that. I think his main flaw, in my opinion, has arguably been the offensive part of the game as playing right wing back, because I'm like, I know how good you are. Why don't you try to play a few more of those decisive passes and try a few more of those crosses? Like under Frank, man was crossing 18 times in a game. Now we're lucky to see 3. Do you know what I mean? But I think defensively in particular, he's improved drastically. But how do you see it, Con?
I think defensively, Reece is a rock now. I think Asby's been giving him one-on-one lessons how to defend, He's a beast, absolute beast. To say that he will see it more consistently, I think that's unfair. I don't think you win a Champions League if you haven't been consistent. Consistent in the PL, fairs, but in Europe, we've been another animal. I think a lot of players like your Georginhos, and nobody else is going to say it, so I'm going to say it. Georginho is a massive part of why we won the Champions League. Massive part. You can big up Ngolo, you can big up Covey, you can big up Mount, but Georginho, if he's not there, we don't win it this year, in my opinion, because he's played game after game after game, and he's been so consistent. In these big games, he's been hella consistent, so big up Georgie. I know we're not talking about him now, but I just wanted to say that. But Reece James, defensively, he's getting there now. Sometimes at the start of games, he needs to liven up a little bit, but he's normally there. And yesterday, he had Sterling, bodied him. Sterling's off, he's crying. Foden goes there, bodies Foden. Who is Foden, bro? There's 2 totally different kinds of profiles. He went up there. Sterling, rapid, pacey, bodied him. Foden, very technical, bodied him. Like, where was Foden yesterday, bro? Like, to me...
I only saw him crying.
Sorry to cut you off, Con. Sorry to cut you off. In the words of Johnny, Foden hasn't got minerals, bro.
Love that. And
Honestly.
against these lower, I don't know, these relegation fodder, right? You can hype up your players, but in the Champions League final, that's where it really matters. And who's shown that? Who really stood out? Reece James, Ben Chilwell, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz. Foden didn't really. He wasn't really there. So big occasions make big players, and we've got a few of them in our squad.
We do. Before I take it to the not last topic, but we're going to have to round this out fairly soon. I'm going to pose a question. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any other kind of small topics or questions that you want me to ask the panel, or one or 2 of us to answer, do use the super chat function to put those questions in the chat. I'm just replying to a chat message here. But Con just brought up Georginho. My girlfriend is about the biggest fan of Georginho I've ever known in my life, and she's had many a go at many people that have been on these streams, many a go at people that have spoken on Twitter. So now that you're here, share your thoughts on Georginho. You're muted, Gorgeous. I'm not sure if you're muted on purpose or not, but I can't hear you. Wait, let me see if you're muted. It doesn't... Oh, come on, let me get rid of this. No, you're not muted. I don't know what's going on, but can you select your microphone at the bottom? You try that. I'll ask Rajiv in the meantime. What do you think about Georginho?
Right, this is where you're gonna have a bit of divided little thingy going on here. I'm not a true fan of Georginho, right? Yesterday he was exceptional, right? But I think, right, Georginho, right, this is where I don't really prefer him. The one area he's lacking is defensively, and I'm sure you all can agree with you. His ball distribution is there in in the games when we need it. But defensively, he's just not there. Like,
I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but how can you say he's not there defensively? That is just that's ridiculous.
What I mean by that is for example, if you tell Kante to get the ball off somebody, Kante will get the ball off you. If you tell Kovacic to get yourself stuck in, he will get stuck in and get the ball off you, and he can pass as well. That's why I prefer Kovacic. But again, I can't write off Georginho because he's shown in the last 10 games how important he is under the Thomas Tuchel, especially with the system. But there were moments where, not just yesterday, but against Aston Villa and Leicester.
Did you just say not just yesterday? Now you're having a waffle. They had one shot on target. No, you can't talk to me about yesterday. No.
Obviously, no. He's exceptional in the day. He was very, very good in the day. But again, I'm just one of them people where I'm not a true fan of Georginho. Like, I just think there are elements where I just feel like, oh God, this is one area he definitely needs to work on is defensively. Especially when he's off possession as well. He's trying to get the ball off people. He just doesn't have that in his locker. Honestly,
bro, I don't mean to cut you off.
You don't understand football, mate. You just don't understand football. You can't. They're playing different roles. Kova and Kante. You can't compare them to Georginho 101. Like, you don't understand. There is different positions in football, mate.
In Coventry, no. The thing is, right, Georginho, right. Honestly, Georginho reminds me of one player, right, and you probably know him on about Cesc Fabregas. What's the one thing they both got in common?
True. Then you have to educate yourself, mate. I'm sorry.
Cesc Fabregas have got good ball distribution, but when it comes to defensively, you can just tell he doesn't have it in him. I know you're all gonna hate this, right? I mean, again, I want to skip the topic here and listen to everybody else's input.
Bro, question:
where did Fabregas play? Many clean sheets, and
where did Fabregas play for most of his career, though? He didn't play in a pivot for most of his career. He didn't play as the furthest midfielder back. He played mostly as a 10. So why are you comparing him to Fabregas? Where's that comparison? Because they both can pass.
No, hear me out. When Fabregas played under Mourinho, he played in the pivot.
Educate yourself, bro. Educate yourself.
Okay. Can I just say something from here?
Under Mourinho, like he played next to Matic by the end, right? And then Matic was the more defensive one. And that was the similar structure we had on the Kante. Obviously, at the start on the Kante, it was kind of Matic and Kante, while Fabregas was struggling to even get into the team. And then only once the season, extended and got longer and longer, and we started to actually win games because people found out how we played in the 3-4-3, which is my qualm with Kante all the time. It's like, oh, we changed formation. Yeah, but 4 months in, it didn't work anymore. So we needed to play Fabregas, was more risky defensively, but to break teams down. Obviously, Georginho doesn't have the passing capability that Fabregas has, right? But Fabregas doesn't have the work rate and the positional awareness that Georginho has. Like, they're not... Obviously, physically, you could maybe make an argument that they're somewhat similar. And technically, they look maybe similar as well, but their position on the pitch is completely different. But, Con, you were trying to say one or two things.
Yeah, sorry, bro, no disrespect, man. No disrespect. That's your opinion. You can have your opinion. That's fair. But I feel like to say he's poor defensively, I think that's just outright rubbish. If you look at our defensive metrics this season, he's there everywhere. Every single stat, Georginho is there up top, second or third. So to say he's poor defensively is just utter nonsense.
I think no.
Sorry,
no,
bro. Can I finish? Right? Can I finish, bro? And
sorry,
secondly, to compare him to Fabregas, bro. You're comparing Fabregas for 2 seasons at Chelsea and you forgot the rest of this guy's career because Fabregas was a 10. He played as a 10 or an 8. He wasn't playing in the pivot. And when he did play in the pivot, like Laurenz says, bro, he wasn't the holder like Georginho. So you can't make that comparison. And Georginho has never been a deep line playmaker, bro. Don't let Lampard fool you, the Lampard tax. He's not a deep line playmaker. So you need to get that comparison with Fabregas out your head because he's not Fabregas. He's not going to do what Fabregas does. Yes, he can pass, but he's there more to dictate the possession than to create a ridiculous chance. Where Vescoli's there more to get forward, create chances, you know, find that striker. That's not how Georginho's mind works. And I think his lack of physicality really makes people harshly judge Georginho. And from how you talk about him, bro, you seem like one of those fans. I could be wrong, but for Georginho, he has to prove every game to you for his support. That's how it feels. It's just not right, man. And you, I think, half hour earlier was going about Mason Mount and his critics and how strongly you felt about there. But then when it comes to Georginho, you just go along with the flow, just like people will with Mount, instead of making your own conclusions and looking up the stuff for yourself. So that's a bit of hypocrisy there. But you're entitled to your opinion, bro. I just heavily disagree. I'm sorry.
Right, and you can say that. You can. Sorry. I'm gonna have to say. I'm sorry. I'm about to say. Again, I don't want to cause a divided little opinion. End of the day, we're all here together, right? We're here to celebrate from yesterday, right? But again, obviously, the topic about Georginho.
This has to change. All these people slandering Georginho all the time, not rating him. That has to change. We can talk about how great we feel all day long, but this is something that is not going to change for next season. And I'm sorry for all of you Georginho haters. He will be here next season. Like, you can dream about him leaving as much as you want. He will be here, and this hate that has no reason behind it has to stop now. It really has to. And something I want to say to Clutch in the chat, Switzerland just equalized, and I have no idea who scored because some random dude was literally liking every single one of my Insta posts. And for all of you boys out there, like, that's not gonna get you anything. Like, liking every single picture.
Rodriguez scored. Jay Rodriguez scored.
Thank you so much.
Ricardo Rodriguez, obviously. Sorry.
And something I have to say about the Georginho topic, and that after that I'm gonna leave because my battery is about to die. We fell apart on the Tuchel twice this season, and that was twice the games where Georginho had shockers. And now you think about, why is the team falling apart if Georginho is not playing good? Is it because Georginho is bad? No, it's because he's given the team so much if he plays good that, like, I don't understand it. And all these people just hating on him. And, like, you really need a girl to tell you about that. Like, honestly, just educate yourself better.
I don't hate Georginho.
Laurenz, I love your girlfriend.
Right.
I do too, bro.
Why do you have to go there, Con? Jeez, you man moving mad.
Not like that.
Right,
again, I don't hate
Georginho. Bye to everyone,
again, I don't hate Georginho, right? I just think there's some elements where he can.
You're just talking bullshit about him, though. So bye, guys. Have fun. Adios.
Oh my God.
Rajiv, share your thoughts. Come on, speak.
Again, Laurenz, I know your girlfriend. And again, and everyone is allowed to have their own input. End of the day, right? You know what I'm saying? We're all in together. End of the day, we're all here together, right? We're all allowed to have our own opinions, right? Again, it's not about. Again, we don't want a divided fucking fans, just like unlike our fucking team we beat yesterday, where we have all divided fucking inputs and all that bullshit from each fans and all that. But again, we're all in it together, right? So we can't really have a hatred in that. But again, we should all be happy in that.
Can I just add to that point? Can I just add one point?
No, well, one second, Gino. Literally, you can talk now. Like I said this when I started, like, basically was getting ready to talk about Georginho. She is literally the biggest Georginho fan I've ever known. I don't think Rajiv was being quite as harsh as maybe even Con, but also Melly took it. I disagree with you yesterday. There was no defensive frailties. Otherwise, we can't say he does do everything right either. Like, let's not kid ourselves into that either. There is still things that he can do better. But there is a big difference. Every player could do things better. And I 100% guarantee that Rajiv is not someone that will criticize Kante heavily for the amount of dreadful final third passes he makes, for the fact that if Kante played better passes, we would have won in Madrid much higher. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I think that the unfairness comes in. But Gino, you were going to say something. Go on.
Yeah, so, I mean, Look, the thing about Georginho is that under Lampard, there were some times where he was struggling. No one can deny that. There were times where he struggled. There were times where there were questions asked about him. And you know what? I think that kind of added fuel to the fire when all of these problems happened. But then Tuchel came in, and then as Melly said, there were only really 2 times when Georginho really badly performed. And so, yeah, I mean, look, to me, I think Georginho, obviously, he is a very, very important player for us. But not only that, we're also linked with Declan Rice, right? And if stats are very important to you, well, I mean, Georginho has outperformed Rice this season in terms of stats in defense, in terms of tackles and interceptions, in terms of successful pressures, ball recoveries, completed passes, progressive passes, shot-creating actions. So, obviously, loads of fans want Declan Rice. I mean, yeah, okay, no denying Declan Rice is a great player, but we cannot deny that Georginho is also not a great player.
This guy's spitting. He's spitting. I love it.
Cheetos.
Love this guy.
This is crazy. No, I think you're right. But I think you also have to consider the fact that stats don't tell you every single thing. Like, he can be better in interceptions and in tackles. There's still also not a stat that shows you, well, there is a stat, but not shown in football stats.
No, it's
that Rice is stronger. So if there is a 50-50 where it's on a physical level, Rice will be more likely to win that compared to Georginho. When we are hit on the break and some other players are out of position, Rice is more likely to make up for that. And that's not saying Rice,
but
if he comes
Laurenz,
in,
I just talked about successful pressures.
No,
Georginho
I'm not saying
is
you're
better
wrong
than
at
Rice
all.
over there. I mean, he's better also in shot creating actions, progressive passes,
No,
final third passes.
No, you're
all of those
100%
things.
correct. I'm just saying, in some games, we still could do with a more physically capable DM. And that's not to say that Georginho isn't great. I love Georginho. People know this. But to say that just because Georginho is great doesn't, or as you said, not great, but just because Georginho is good doesn't mean Declan Rice is now not good. They can both.
I never said that. No, I
know. I'm just trying to give context.
Yeah, of course. I completely understand. But what I am trying to say is that, yes, okay, Declan Rice is a great player. And I do think that he coming into this club would be very useful. But people who are saying, oh, Georginho is bad, I mean, well, hang on. Do you even watch football? Do you even look at the stats? Can anything back you up on that point? Not really.
Maybe so. We have another super chat here about I Test Merchant saying Georginho can be a defensive liability. No, he can, 100%. And that is sometimes the problem with him. Georginho doesn't just have a bit of a bad game. Georginho either has a good game or a howler. And that's slightly the problem. And also that the fact that the way we play was so dependent on him that when he does have a howler, the whole team just crumbles. And that is
Laurenz, though, can I make a point here? That Thiago Silva this season against West Brom twice got sent off and made a massive mistake, but that is never spoken about like a Georginho bad performance. And that's why people get annoyed and defend Georginho to the hills. It's not because we just love this guy and he's our favourite player. It's because he gets scrutinised more than any other Chelsea player by a country mile. And we're sick of seeing it. And that's why we heavy home the point. I don't mind people criticising Georginho as long as they criticise everyone else. Keep the same energy in it. But just don't focus on Georginho, That's all I've got to say.
I think that's fair. We have another super chat here, but Tadej, sorry if I butchered your name, saying Chelsea may have the best defence in the world right now. And to bring things back before we end it here, to a more positive topic, again, champions of bloody Europe. But that defence, Man City had one shot on target. Obviously, that shot on target that is slightly skewed by the fact that they don't count blocked shots as shots on target, even though they would have gone on target. So I don't really understand why is it a shot on target if the goalie saves it, but it's not a shot on target if a defender blocks it. That makes no sense to me. But any which way, so Man City definitely had more than one shot on target, just not for Mendy to deal with, but for the defenders to deal with. Regardless, our defense is doing bits. Obviously, the last few games, like out of the last 6 games, out of the last 5 games, we lost 3. It's not great, but one of them was a Champions League final. We won that, so take it up where you can. Our defense has done special things. I do still hope, though, and this is no criticism of how we've done things and what we've done. I still want us to, in a big game, not have a second half where we just defend. You know, not that there was anything wrong with that yesterday. We needed to do what we needed to do. But one day, I want Chelsea to be in a position in the final against a strong team where when we go 1-0 up, we don't defend. But we keep going and we keep going and we score a second and we maybe score a third. And one day I want to see that. One day I want to see that. But our defense is just...
Lawrence, let's be honest. We had an opportunity to score a second. Christian Pulisic.
Yeah, no, but that was on the break. It wasn't like we kept going and peppering.
Look, I agree with your points completely. Obviously, we do want to see more offensive, but that's going to take time. You know, that doesn't happen instantly. You know, probably in the next year or so, Tuchel will develop that side of the game.
I think little details like getting to the final third, and you know what? It's happened a few times, and not just yesterday. It's happened so many times. We're going to the final third, we break, but all of a sudden it was just that final pass. The final pass is what let everybody down. I think we need to work on that more. Once we work on that, I think that's when we can be there. Once we know how to break, find that killer instinct pass, and kill it off, that's when we'd be like. That's when I can feel like we're kind of there.
Fair play. Someone asked, is there going to be a parade in London? I don't actually know this. Father, do you know this by any chance? Is there going to be a parade?
There's not going to be any parade because of the government restrictions.
We're still in the pandemic. The restrictions are still in place, aren't they? And
no, 100%. But I mean, you saw people celebrating in a pub. I mean, how different is it really? But you know, it is all like at Fulham Broadway last night. You know, Chinas was there, Father was there. I mean, like,
yeah.
Would it be that much different to a parade? I doubt it. But you know what? To say one last thing, or not one last thing, but to get into one last, just hurrah. We're champions of bloody Europe, guys. We're champions of bloody Europe. We're the best team in the world because people always make this weird statement. Like even Tuchel, Man City might be the best team in Europe and then maybe in the world. I'm like, no. If you're the best team in Europe, you're automatically the best team in the world. Except Chelsea, everyone wins the Club World Cup. The only ones that bought that is us. So let's hopefully we can make that right come December, January, whenever that is. Let's hopefully we can make that right. But we're bloody champions of Europe, and we deserve to be champions of Europe. Like it's a little bit different. I was in 2012. In 2012, we deserved it because of how unlucky we've been. Previously. That season, we got so much. Like we were very lucky in that 2012 season. The fact that Messi missed a pen, Cech saved that Robin pen. You know, we got away with murder, literally, right? The fact that we still won, even though Terry had the brain fart of a century by just kneeing Alexis Sanchez in the behind for no reason whatsoever. This season was different. You know, we battered Sevilla 4-0 away from home. I mean, Man United couldn't even be bloody Villarreal, and we battered Sevilla 4-0 away from home. Big up, Giroud. Cruised past Atletico Madrid. Sure, the first leg needed a moment of magic. But hey, sometimes you do, and they didn't get anywhere near scoring. Second leg, we had them on absolute toast and should have won by more than 2 in that game as well. Porto was arguably the biggest struggle because we just struggled a little bit to deal with their press. But it was one of those where, one game we were not the underdog, we were the clear favourites. You know, that's where we struggled a little bit more, but we came through it regardless. Real Madrid, we should have peppered them by 2 digits. We should have peppered them by 10. And then we go into a Champions League final, the whole bloody world, and apparently even the BT coverage before the game was like, City this, City that, City this, City that, right? I don't really care. You know, City this, City that, City waffle. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like everyone got scared about Pep moving his hands a little bit. I'm like, these people have never been to Italy. Everyone moves their hands there. You're scared of everyone? No. It makes no sense. Like, just because he moved his hands a little bit, it doesn't mean nothing. Pep had no idea.
Can I just say something, Lawrence? Right? What really upsets me, right, is that they'll say City this, City that, right? But when it comes to the cases where they talk about Chelsea, they'll just write us off and put us in the shadows. And you know what? Another thing that upsets me so badly, right? Everyone is so scared of City. Everybody is so scared. They're like, oh, we don't know what to do tactically. Oh no, we don't know how to break City. They're the best team in Europe. Oh, they beat PSG and Dortmund. They're the best team in Europe. No. Look, we beat them 3 times this season, right? Easy. If you can listen, the way to break City is like yesterday. There's ways of breaking a team. You know, sometimes when you're trying to do something and you struggle, there's always ways round it to able to do your thing. It's the same with football. Anything you do, there's always ways round it. Again, there's always ways round to break City. It's, you know, I don't know why teams are just so afraid to play against City. Wow, they're passing machines. Wow, They got this, they got that.
Well, I mean, they won
can
the
buy the
Premier
league.
League. Like, let's not make them sound like they're not good. But we were miles of them all season long, like miles of them. I wish we could beat teams on a regular basis do.
100%.
But when we went 1-on-1 against them,
you can't be afraid of your opponent.
When we went 1-on-1 against them, it just wasn't that simple for them. And we found a way. And at the end of the day, we're champions of Europe. We're, in my opinion, a better team last night. Sure, second half was a lot of defending, but it was great defending. We didn't let them do nothing. And in my opinion, that's brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, I do have other plans this evening, so I do need to cut this short. I do apologize. But I do appreciate every single one of you that has come on. Of course, Con, Alex, Father, Rajiv, Jay as well, Mo that was on earlier, Melinda, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, I really do appreciate every single one of you that has tuned in. We still have 400 people watching, which I massively appreciate it. So if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe. We're on the road to 15,000 subscribers, so get subscribed. Click that big ass red subscribe button. Because if not for any other reason, then we're champions of Europe. So you might as well. Smash the like button as well. Appreciate everybody that has donated today. Appreciate all of you guys. And I'm not sure when our next stream, but it will be in the next couple of days. So thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea. And I'll see you next time.